Hi, and welcome to Paper Route Scrapbooking. I'm Nadine, and today I'm making a second layout for the Whole Kit and Caboodle YouTube hop. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be continuing with the challenge of using an entire kit from start to finish. So I will be trying to use up this music notes kit that I shared in my first video in the kit share, and this is my second page kit that I made in the video that shows page kit making. So just a little bit of a step-by-step process of how I'm going to use up this entire collection. Okay, so today I'm going to start with these 3 pages that I had chosen, and I had put them with this title. I also noticed this when I was going through some things, so I thought I would pick that out. And then I added my photos, and I noted that when I cut my photos down, I had 2 3x3s, so I thought maybe I could get a couple of these chipboard frames onto this layout. So I grabbed those right away, and then I also typed up my journaling and preset a date stamp. So, okay, that's where I'm going to start. And then I also grabbed a piece of black cardstock because what I have in my head is going to require a little bit of a frame. So this is going to be my base page, but I want it to have a black frame around the outside, and then I want an inside piece to also have a black frame, so I think I'm just gonna gut this paper. I don't do this very often, but every once in a while if it suits my needs. So like I want it to be the same black cardstock framing both pieces, so I think I'm just gonna do it that way. We'll just cut the middle out of it. And this is another good way to stretch your budget as well if you are scrapbooking on a budget, which I did for many, many, many years. This was one of the techniques I used to make my dollar go a little further. Usually I would just grab 2 sheets of cardstock, but I didn't really have 2 of this particular texture of cardstock, and I was just like, you know what, I'll just gut it. I'm not gonna keep looking or find me another. They weren't, I mean, there might be one in there, but I wasn't gonna like spend a long time looking for it. I just thought, nope, this is really thick paper. Oh, my printer's talking to me. Really thick paper that will, like, this paper is thick enough that it doesn't need that cardstock base to hold it up, so I'll just gut the paper and we'll go with that. So I'm going to cut 3/4 of an inch off of the right hand side and 3/4 of an inch off of the bottom of the page. And I'm going to ink around the edges again with my Black Soot Distress ink. This is the color I chose. I'll probably use this on all the layouts for this particular collection just to keep things simple, unless I get to a layout where I feel like it's not the right choice. So for example, if there's one that has just like different prominent color, then I would probably pick a different ink, but I think for most of them it'll be black. There we go. Okay, so now we have this as our base. I'm gonna take a strip of this from the bottom and put it across the bottom of this. So I'm thinking maybe just right here. What is that, 3.5 inches? 3.5. And then I had cut off 3/4 of an inch from the side of that base paper, so that's what I'm going to need to cut off on this one so it will fit on there. Okay, and then this is where this square of black is going to come in. So I want this piece to kind of like pop up out of here, so I'm thinking I might need to measure a little bit. So I don't need that in here, but I want it to be like where my photos are gonna hang out. So something like that. So let me just get a rough estimate of measurement. So I'm gonna go with a 7. 7 inches of this music note paper, and then what did we say? Maybe 9 on this one, just to make it a little bigger than what our photos were. And what was this? 7, so then I'll want this to be 7 1/4. And then this should fit into here pretty well with just a little bit of that black trim around the outside. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to ink this one. I'll go this way so that if it's not quite even on the bottom, it's okay, it'll tuck away. There you go. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm thinking right here. And I might want it a little bit to the side. Okay, so do I want this on top or behind? Let's see what they're gonna end up like. I think I'm gonna have to, if I put it on top, then all of my photos will fit on the black and white. If I put it behind, then my photos will have to be overlapping both papers. Which would I prefer? I think I'm going to put it on top. And I feel like this seam needs to be covered with something, so I'm going to grab this scrap from yesterday. And I'm going to cut another line of these music notes as like a border strip. All right, let's start with this piece. We'll just ink around the edges and get that stuck down. So I hope that everybody is finding a little bit of inspiration through the Whole Kit Caboodle series. There is a one-click collaborative playlist shared in the video description of this, where you can go and see other people's videos on using up an entire collection. I'm sure everybody does it a little bit differently. Ginger did give us kind of an outline of what she was going to do, but she left it kind of up to our interpretation to like use up our collection in whatever way works for us. But I liked that it gave us a little bit of an outline. So she also did like a kit share, and then she made page kits with that collection kit, and then I followed along pretty closely to that, so I think that's going to be fun. I did my kits a little bit differently. She didn't do hers with photos and titling, but I did, so everybody does theirs a little bit differently, I think, but that's the beauty of having a group or a YouTube hop, right? You get to see different people's interpretations, so I hope you'll go over there and find some inspiration as well if you haven't seen it already. And if you are coming over from Ginger's Corner and you're enjoying my videos, I would love to have you a subscriber if you would like. But of course, that's entirely up to you. Okay, there we go. And then I would like to get some photos on here. I want the one of us all together in the corner. And then this and this. Then this is going to need a little bit of TLC, I think, because I'll want to get it totally straight, but I can do that in a minute. Let's see what else we think we're going to get on here. So I do need a spot for my date. So I have photos, title, journaling, and I need a date. So what am I going to use to put a date on here? I have this little, oh look, that's cute too. This is from my layout yesterday where that came off and I didn't end up using it. What about, I know I have some labels in here. Let's see if we can find one. Those ones are kind of big, right? I do like this ticket though. Maybe I can get that ticket on there. Oh, here's one. Okay. So maybe I can stamp my date on here and then add it to the bottom of this photo. So here is go. All right. So that's fun. I like this too. You Are Classic, but I think it's too big unless I put it down there. Not sure. What else we got? I used some chipboard frames, but let's see if there's something else chipboard I think could go on here. I do like the chipboard hearts. Maybe those. And these. I could get some of that on there maybe. And then I could probably get a few of these kinds of things on here as well, but we shall see. Okay, so let's decide where we're gonna put our embellishment thingies. So I feel like each of the little frames could use some embellishing, and I feel like around the title area could use some embellishing. So let's see, what do we got here? So my story for these photos is when we were in school, Jonah and our cousin Andy did an epic performance of Alanis Morissette's Ironic for the school air guitar competition. So when he realized that the lip sync battle that his theater company had signed up for was a fundraiser for the nonprofit organization that I worked for, he asked them to help him reenact the first time I had ever seen him take the stage. It was a pretty great performance and a very sweet gesture from my baby brother. So this was a fundraiser for the nonprofit that I work for, and when I heard my brother was going to be performing, I made an extra effort to go. So the night that I went was not the night that the rest of the staff got to go for free because I was going to be out of town that night. So my husband and I bought tickets and we went, and it was well worth it. He was very sweet, and I loved that he picked something that was meaningful to him and I. I cannot get these stickers out of here. There we go. Let's take it out this way. There. That's nicer. Okay. So I feel like we can take some of these pieces, right? And get them on there. I need my tweezers because my fingers don't always put things where I think they're putting them. There's one. Let's get one on the other side. So these are pretty old EK Success stickers. I got them from, I think from a yard sale. And so they were only like 25 cents a pack, but I feel like they're gonna go really nicely on my music layouts. So I'm excited to add those in. What do we got here? So my title, I think, reflects not only the song that he was performing, or they were performing, I guess it was a group effort, and but it also reflects the actual story. Little irony that he'd signed up for something that he didn't realize had anything to do with his family whatsoever, and then somebody told him what it was for, and he was like, I think my sister works there. So yes, it was kind of cool. Love that. Love that, love that. I like how this is also reflected here, and I feel like I need another, maybe this music book could go up here somehow. That'll be cute. Okay. And then I was thinking this might be fun to put a backing under. What could I put in behind here? I was thinking like something from back here, but I think I cut those too small to go in behind there. What about a piece of this maybe? To echo that. That'll be fun. What else do we need on here? So we have a little bit of embellishing, and then we need like some finishing touches. So my finishing touches are in red, which doesn't really go with what my vibe is here. Although I do have this little bin. Let's see what we got in here. We could do wood veneer finishing touches, or we could do these little stars. I think there's gold ones in here. Yeah, those would make good finishing touches, right? So would these. So this is another option. But I feel like we have a lot of music notes happening already. Let's go with the stars. I also love this. Maybe we could get one of these on here somewhere. Something like that. There we go. Okay, so let's see about some finishing touches. So I don't have any, oh, I do have some of the bright gold ones. Bright golds, and bright golds. Those will be fun. What else we got? I have some gems. I could put gems on here, or hearts. I have puffy hearts, or I have these gems, but I think I'm gonna go with like the amber colored gems because it's a tone on tone, kind of like this brown color. So I think I'll go with those for my finishing touch. All right, so here is our completed layout. I have added some little gems in each embellishment cluster, and I've added a few stickers onto my chipboard pieces to go with the theme, and I got those brads tucked in there and everything glued down, and I really like how this one turned out. So I am having fun using my music notes collection. I am going to return these two wood pieces to my little tray, and this to my little tray as well with my other cut aparts, and then these are going to go in with my leftover scraps for this collection. And I think that's about it. I will add a close-up shot at the end of this video if you want to see that. It will also be on my Instagram. So I hope you found some inspiration today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. And I hope you all have a great day. Bye for now.